it's you. You tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Zoe, I'm so glad that we get to have this conversation because your music carries honesty and depth. It feels like you're blending lived experience and artistry in a way that really lands,
Mm,
plus your witchiness,
yeah.
and which is why it lands as well. And
Yeah.
I'd love to get into where that comes from, the journey you've been on, and let's start by looking back before the season of growth. Yeah,
Oh.
I want to
Hmm.
look at looking back. So again, if you're on TikTok, please join us on Instagram or YouTube, Wendy Parr, because I'm talking to Zoe and you can see her there. Otherwise, you're going to get my half of the conversation, which you're welcome to get. Okay. So if you think back to
Hmm.
where you were creatively before this season, what felt stuck or unclear for you?
Um, most things felt stuck and unclear. I would say
Okay.
I was always told that I had this talent and that I had a really good voice. But I think just the overall like who am I as an artist, but also like as a person and how that
Mm.
shines through my work was so muddy. I feel like there's a lot of there's a lot of people who are trying to do music and it's hard to really pick out what makes this person, so unique and how can I relate to this person. And I think I wasn't putting enough of my story into it and just like, my beliefs, or I would do it privately, but I wouldn't do it as much publicly.
Mm.
So I think mostly it was kind of the who am I and, how can people relate with me? That was really unclear.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I do think that a lot of people in the world just never look at who am I. A lot of people never, a lot of humanity just kind of like sweep things under the rug, keep going. We just got to get through our life, which is, I'm not mad at anybody for it. But creatives do dive into this. We write stories, we tell stories, we make songs. Like you're diving into who am I.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of our work can be unconscious until we get specific and go, either in our personal life, we say, hey, there's stuff that's not working, right? Like I keep dating the same person and it's not working out, or I keep running into the same wall, or, and then musically, like, wow, I'm getting this far, but not that far. So
Yeah.
it takes reflection to grow. It takes ask an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur, you are too. Like, but an entrepreneur, like to hone in on your business is to constantly adjust and
Yeah.
adjust and pivot and adjust. So to do this internally so that our external artistic world can be an expression of the internal is so essential.
Yeah. 100%.
Were there moments that felt messy or uncomfortable, like, oh, I want to quit, or in that muddiness, like what got uncomfortable enough that you had to make a change?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I've been trying to be an artist since I was really young. Like, this because
Yeah.
you were my voice coach at 15, 16 years old. And my music journey started even way before that. So I don't think I've ever had the feeling of I can't do music anymore. I don't know if I'll ever have that feeling, but I've definitely felt uncomfortable with the journey. Of course, like even more so as you get older because you're like, oh, like I don't have the room to just like be an artist while I'm being a kid and like have everything, all the finances and all that stuff taken care of for me. Like now I have to really like prioritize like being an artist and also like surviving. And I think that is probably some of the times where I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, is this possible? But I don't think I ever get to the point of I can't do music anymore. I
It's also
don't.
the fire, right? Like there's a fire when you're hungry. There's a fire. Not we don't want desperate, but there's a fire when you're like, I gotta make something happen there. I gotta pay my bills. I got my life. So there's a positive side to that being
Yeah.
being a motivator as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Even that, like we just like a butterfly, the struggle of breaking out of the cocoon is where the strength comes to fly.
Yep.
That is humanity as well. The struggle is where we get our strength. The struggle is where we get confidence. The struggle we can't remove all the struggle. As a parent, I'm like, don't take all the struggle away from your kids. They are not going to have courage.
Yeah, that's very true. And I
Right.
think that along with, I would say maybe compromising who you are, that's kind of one of the other struggles is being like, okay, like I have had a lot of instances where I work with, you know, people who have a big name and, they have a vision for you, but it may not align with what you want to do for yourself. And I think trying to figure out, okay, do I go this route just because it's going to get me somewhere, or do I choose myself and hope that I can make it that way? That's another struggle where it's
So
been.
question specifically around that. And again, if you're in TikTok, please join my Instagram or YouTube where we are live talking to Zho Davis. And then you'll be able to see her in the conversation. Since doing the Compass program, would you say that that decision is more clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So younger you would be swayed into, oh, I should listen to this successful person, go in that direction they're saying, because something could come of it based on their experience, their opinion. I think that's also, again, we want to I should turn this air down. It sounds loud to me. We want to it's really essential. Like having mentors should be useful and helpful. Being in the room with amazing, successful people should be helpful,
Yeah.
right? But then we also have to look at where are they coming from? Are they speaking in my best interest? Are they speaking in their best interest? Are they, really, it's important to listen and have some trust and to be with good people. And then it's also really essential to still stay true to yourself. I definitely know, particularly for young female artists, where they aren't listened to in the room, even though they are the artist that everybody is writing for, or
Yeah.
they're the reason everyone's there. Every other, male and big name person is going to say, "I know best."
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a big test to really stick with your gut and your instinct. And but I will say, like, ever since like taking Compass and really like sticking and to it and really committing to this rebrand for myself, I get the most results with people, and the feedback being like, this is actually inspiring. And I was like, even it's funny. It's like even in times where it's like, oh my god, I feel like nothing is happening, and then it's just like everyone else has a different view of that. Of like, what do you mean? Like, I love that you're doing this. I love that you're doing this. Like, this is really great. Like, I admire when you're saying this and your message, and it makes me feel like this. And that's the most rewarding thing out of all the numbers. That's the most rewarding thing is those messages.
That is so awesome. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
So we're going to go more into the present, but just as an example, I'm just tomorrow actually announcing that our Compass Unplugged is happening, our next live event in LA.
Yep.
And in saying like, come, this is happening and that's happening. Similarly, the thing that I said was like my favorite thing that was said from the last event was, you can feel the love in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, come for the amazing performances, come for the music executives and industry people who are going to be there, come for the raffle.
Yeah.
But this is what everybody said, and that's everything.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? That feeling is everything. And I know I'm texting you going, hello, with this vibe and this outfit and this natural hair, and I'm like, hello.
I love it.
I just see you. I see you. And in fact, you are one of the reasons why I told my team, oh, when we start every cycle now of Compass program, we need to take before shots of people's social media and images and grab some videos, because the afters are so tremendous.
Yeah.
And the before is gone. So we
Yeah.
got to capture it before it's gone, because the difference is amazing.
Yeah. And I think also when I started Compass, like I think like completely restarted my pages too. So it was like I decided to just start on a clean slate,
Yes, you did.
because I think I needed it, like energetically and also just like visually. I needed something new.
Well, again, we're going to dive more into these with questions, but I remember when we first met and we talked about this. Not first met, when we met before Compass.
Mm-hmm.
You had like an LA Burning Man spiritual vibe to
Yeah.
you, right? Like, and as I say those words, we can all imagine like what that is,
Mm-hmm.
right? We go, yeah, we recognize that. We know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And since Compass, you are you, like that inner spiritual woman is there, but the external of you is not any of those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm seeing you.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I think I was playing more into the idea of what people expect a spiritual witchy artist looks like.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I go through fashion phases all the time. So like that switches up. But at the core of it, like I am from New York, so there is this like grunginess to me that I like to express. Like if I had my choice, I'd be wearing all black all the time. Does not matter what the season is or where I am. Like there's just that part of me that I think makes it a little bit different and a little bit more relatable. Where it's like, oh, I don't have to be this like I don't have to look super whimsy to be
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean?
Totally. Human beings in general we are lazy and we categorize quickly because it makes us, it's basically, is this person safe? Am I
Yeah.
safe with them? It's like survival kind of stuff. And when we do dress a certain way, we know, oh, everyone will recognize who I am, what I'm about. And so it's like a cliche in songwriting. It's a shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the idea of it. But
Mm-hmm.
what's way more interesting is your version of it.
Yeah.
Right? Your unique version of it is so much more interesting than the group's idea of it.
100%.
So what's the difference now when you sit down to write or sing or produce compared to before? Like, is there a new ritual, or is the mindset shifted? How is it different now?
I think since moving to Vegas, especially, I don't have a lot of the people that I used to write with, which we can always do virtually and stuff. But I think a lot of it has kind of forced me to figure out who I am as a solo writer as well.
Mhm.
And that for me can come at any time, which I really liked.
Mhm.
So I don't necessarily have to be in the studio, which luckily is right in my house, but I don't have to be like in that room and sitting there. Like I kind of just let things come to me when they come to me and run with that energy because I've noticed that, I've been in circumstances where I've had to write, like be in the studio and had to write every single day. And that causes more of a block for me than
Mhm.
I noticed just kind of letting things download and, channel. And that to me, there are some times where I will literally be in the shower and all of a sudden a full song will just come through and I'm just like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? And like, I work better and I get better results that way. And I think that that's okay. You know what I mean?
Of course, it's okay. It's like
Yeah.
you found like more fluidity, allowing things to come through. You grab the idea and you've got the studio right there. So you're like, I can go make it happen. I can go put this idea down. I
Yeah.
can go play and be disciplined over here.
Yeah.
But you're allowing more space for the ideas to come creative and in your flow. That's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. And it works right now too because I don't have a lot of people checking for me at this moment to be like, well, where's my next song? Where's this? Where's that? And it's like I am kind of really loving the freedom of like letting that come and letting the release happen while still doing like other things to keep momentum. But when
Hmm.
it comes to like my music and my experiences, I'm letting that come on its own time while I have the freedom to do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing you said that is really valuable is you did a lot of co-writing and a lot of sessions, which means you learned a lot. You had a lot of influence. You had a lot of learning from how different people do different things.
Yeah.
Now you're in the space of like, okay, well, what's my voice? What do I want to say? How do I want to say it? This is you coming out.
Hmm.
And I would definitely say for a lot of artists that that is where like the storytelling really comes, right? When you're like, okay, I've done a lot of co-writing and I love co-writing,
Mm-hmm.
but there's this process now that allows you to truly just have your voice come through the way you want to say it, do it, produce it. And that's really potent.
It's also another thing is allowing myself to be cringe during that writing, the early writing stages.
Yes.
Lord knows, like the first line you come out with is not always going to be it. And, you know, allowing myself to be like, okay, nothing has to be perfect when I first write it, or even like I journal a lot as well. And I had noticed like in the past when I was doing those constant writing sessions, was journaling in a way where it's like, can this be a song later? And that would drive me nuts because it's like, I just want to be able to like release and get it out. And if something happens from it, something happens from it.
Right.
But yeah.
Your journaling became driven for an outcome instead of like actually journaling for the sake of journaling.
Yep.
Yeah. And I would say like writing, if you're writing all the time, some of it just is like, oh, I just needed to get that out. That's not a song. And some of it's like, right? Like, oh, that just had to come out. Like everything isn't a song. Every song you write isn't to be released. I mean, never.
And I
Not
think that's so much
greatest songwriter.
there. Yeah.
Your greatest songwriter does not release everything they write. Like, and yes, draft Dean Pitchford, who wrote All the Man That I Need, one of my favorite Whitney Houston songs. He wrote Fame and Footloose, among many other things, right? He says, and it's funny because when I write, I used to write, 10 drafts of something, and sometimes I still write many. I think I'm faster at draft 1 through 3 being stronger, but I would just write draft 1 and know that like this is the first of many. And he writes shitty draft number 1.
It's helpful, yeah.
Shitty draft number 1. So he knows like just get the idea out and then craft and then hone and then yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, that's wonderful freedom. So what parts of yourself would you say feel more seen or more expressed or more understood now through your music?
Well, definitely that witchy side that I always had, which is honestly it's like one of the most vulnerable parts of me, I would say, because for any artist who announces themselves as like very witchy, you're adopting the, that persona of a group of people who were like, shunned and shamed and killed for being who they were, and some not even, but just to be associated with, being like, hey, I'm a witch, that takes a lot of vulnerability.
Oh, funny, I got my hat on today.
I know. I noticed it when you first came on. That takes like courage. And
it's actually a Peruvian hat, but it does have that
little
shape, right?
But yeah,
it takes courage to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
My goal is that it takes less courage and feels more like where we need to live being vulnerable. Like I would love to see a world where being vulnerable is everywhere is very safe. It's safe to be vulnerable. Yeah. And I think that being an artist, we need to be more and more comfortable and feel more comfortable in our vulnerability. Yeah. But and maybe and I love that you're saying like courage to be witchy, which is courage to be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm. And to own who you are behind closed doors, to own being different, to own being, the possibility of being seen of being an outcast,
Yeah.
But it's also, and I also got a lot of, comments like, are you sure you want to do this? It's very niche. It's a very niche area. And it's like, that's okay for me. I'd rather be surrounded by people who, like can relate to me and can be like, oh, I feel so accepted in this community, even if it is niche. Yeah. Like that sense of belonging and having a community is more important to me than, being lost in the mainstream of everything,
and most things that are mainstream come from a niche side.
Exactly.
Very little starts in the middle. Mm-hmm. It's something that starts niche and more people find out about it and they love it and it becomes popular.
And that's what's happening too with this like witch pop genre, it's definitely growing.
Amazing. That's amazing. I love it. I think also important to talk about with the idea of witchy. First of all, there's lots of words that could be used for that, right? So it could be a healer, you could be an alchemist, you could be witchy. Like there are other words that might be less um,
Jarring.
charged,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That being said, you could also say that there's a lot of I'm going to say misunderstanding isn't the right word. There's a lot of witches were very powerful and healers and medicinal, and a lot of what they were accused of was not true.
Mm-hmm.
So there's power in owning that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that I have this ability to be an alchemist, to be a healer, to be the community builder, to be sacred.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And I think that, yeah, people who stand in their power aren't for everybody,
Mm-hmm. And that's
right?
okay too, is accepting that. And I think, especially growing up, that was something that I was so focused on, is being for everybody. And
In which case you're for nobody. And first
yeah.
and foremost, you're not for yourself. If you are trying to be for everyone, you're giving up yourself.
Mm-hmm. And that is something that I can genuinely be like, you know what, I'm happier now just being myself and not being around people, or, kind of sifting out who belongs around me and who doesn't, just by being myself, is something I'm accepting.
Amazing. I said to my daughter's almost 4,
Mm.
and she's a little performer. I mean, she literally is making up songs all day long. If you just, she's by herself. She's like I did. Like she'll just be by herself, and you'll catch her doing like jumping around the room and going, and she's putting on her own show. She's doing her own thing,
Yeah.
and she's a little slow to warm to people and a little not. And I said to her, she's literally just almost 4, just started new school, and I said to her, I know that there are other people in your class that love to do shows like you do, and that love to perform. It's just going to take a minute to find your people.
Mm-hmm.
She's 4, and I'm telling her this because I know, like, she's shy to like. I don't even like the word shy. She's just slow to warm up and figure out who's for her. And I was like, it just takes time. You will find your people.
Yeah.
There are other theater kids,
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
So just knowing, like, I will find my people in the world. And as you said, as you grow and change and evolve, some people stay and some people don't.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you've changed.
Yeah.
You
And
grow and change.
that's like, I think the hardest thing for people to accept is, like, especially when I like completely got rid of, no, well, not got rid of, but yeah, I did like shift to a whole new page with a whole new image with all these new terms that people are like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you into? Like,
Yeah.
and it was one of those moments where it's like, I have to go all, go all or go home, whatever the saying is. But yeah, it definitely rattled some people, but
Mhm.
that's what we gotta do.
People are not comfortable with change.
Mm-mm.
And some people will be like, "Oh, I'm feeling you now. I get this." And some people will come back around later and go, "Oh, I get it. I'm with you now. I understand." And
Yeah.
some people won't, and that's okay. And then a whole bunch of new people will find you.
Yeah. That's the thing about artistry too, though, is like, you can't do it for your friends. You can't, that's not the audience that you're catering to. You're trying to bring in more like-minded people who can relate through you, through
Yeah.
your art, through your music.
Yep.
So
I tell artists when we're working together, I'm like, when you can perform in front of your parents and not care, you're winning.
yeah. Yep.
And your friends are not your fans. Strangers are your fans.
100%.
And then, then your friends, some of your friends are your fans, and then some of them come around later when they see all the strangers loving you, go, "Oh my God, I see that." Because they have a perception of you. Like,
Yeah.
they have a perception of you since you were 5. They have an idea of who you are and
Yeah.
who you step into as an artist, and the empowerment and the inner world. So speaking of that, like, how do you approach your vulnerability now? Like, what do you allow in your work, and what's for you?
So I think I'm still getting to being completely vulnerable, especially in my music. There are definitely songs that I have that I haven't released yet that show that more. I always say it's the Pisces moon of me.
Mm.
Because that is like she feels everything. And that's such a big part of me. But a lot of my like
I see
outward,
his moon right here too.
are you? Look at that.
Mhm.
Look at that. Yeah, it's no joke. It's no joke.
It's
Like
a devotion.
it's exhausting. And so I think I'm slowly, I think that might be like an album, like another album title, is like
I love that.
Moon, because I do have a lot of songs that have a lot of feeling. I just never know when's the right time to put it out. But I don't think there ever really is going to be a right time. It's just a matter of like really being like, all right, I'm going to go full vulnerable. I'm just going to do it. And I think I also have
We can, come back into a momentum meeting and we can talk about those singles and such.
yeah.
I think that there's the right time for you. And I
Mhm.
also think that some things are a little like the pulse of the universe slash seasons. For example, there's a reason why there's a summer song, a summer jam, and a summer blockbuster movie, and why like around fall we get like the heavier, darker Oscar-winning performances
Mhm.
because there's a season that
Yeah,
humans are receptive when they're receptive to certain things, right?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
I do think that being aware of that kind of pulse and that kind of seasonal cycle can be important.
yeah,
But also it's like, well, where am I? Where am I and what do I want to say? Or what does my audience need right now? What do I feel like I got to give them right now?
yeah, yeah. And it's also like some of the songs are like things that I've written like a long time ago. So I'm like, okay, does this really fit into like where I am now? Like maybe I can tweak it. But and also I have like the people who I really enjoy writing those types of songs with, they're now in LA. So I'm like, okay, I'm making
Mm.
a conscious effort to travel back and forth there so that I can, you know, kind of it's I call them my coven. So, because we're all
Okay.
like so in tuned, and it's just like, we get that. So for me, if
Nice.
I'm going to be vulnerable too, I got to be around the right people. I got to be, have the right energy for that. So I like to make sure that I feel supported when I put that out.
That's awesome.
um yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Well,
Mhm.
speaking of LA, October 9th, Compass Unplugged. So that's a time to bring yourself back to
Oh
LA
yeah.
for our live event in LA with performances and hang and all our Compass folks and fans. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That should that's beautiful. And that again, that's very like conscious choice. You're like, okay, I'm creating, I've got ideas, and then I'm gonna make this conscious choice to go to work with my people, to do some stuff. That I love that it becomes very intentional.
Mhm.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah.
How would you say, like, how has your Compass experiences and your personal life experiences shaped the sounds and the themes and like the energy of your songs and your new material?
Well, I can say for Compass for sure, like that gave me the direction. It gave me the like the questions. I didn't really know what questions I had to be asking myself. And I feel like the way that you design the program, it had exactly the right questions. And I knew that I was doing some of the stuff, like I was doing mood boards and vision boards and all the Pinterest and stuff, but really it was like the nitty gritty of also like targeting what is it that's holding me back? What is it that I'm afraid of? Like, who am I catering to specifically? Like, if I'm being completely honest with myself, who is my audience, and what are the songs that I like, and this and that. And it was like just those workbooks. I took that very seriously because I was like, I genuinely want to come up with these answers because I don't want to be shooting in the dark. I don't want to be throwing
Yeah,
things at the wall and seeing what
that's
sticks.
right.
Like at this age, I'm like, all right, I got to get somewhere, and I want to have. I do really well with like a lane. You know what I mean? I do really well with like knowing what the goal is and like having steps to get
Some
there.
structure.
Yeah, structure. That's the word. That's what
Yeah,
I need, and
yeah,
I loved that, and I was like, I just know
awesome.
if I have some artist development, like I can get to where I'm trying to get. I need the right terms to put it there, So
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I do agree with you. I think that artists don't know the questions to ask themselves to get the answers they're looking for.
yeah, Yeah.
Oh, hold on one second. This is. Give me 1 second. Oh, so silly. I am in my new office. That's why there's a gray wall behind me and no decoration on it yet. I haven't been able to put my stuff up yet. 1 second. My lights just went out. No, I mean, not the power. Hold on 1 second. Come on, answer me, you silly goose. Lights on. Come on. Oh my gosh, this is so silly. Hold on 1 second.
No worries.
So I'm in my new office, and my lights, they don't think I'm here. The office think there it goes. The
I
office
see.
thinks I left. And so it turns everything off, and I have my little
Move around a
remote,
little bit more.
and I don't know how to use this remote yet. I have to come back when someone's in the main space and ask them, how do I get my office to stop turning off on
Turn it
me?
off.
Yeah. We lasted a long time. Yesterday was like, I did something that got it to last longer, because yesterday it was like every 15 minutes it was turning off.
Oh gosh, must be on a time.
If you're in TikTok, join me on Instagram Live or YouTube. We're live right now with Zho Davis, having an amazing conversation. And if you join the other platform, you'll be able to see her and hear both sides of the conversation. So come join us there. And thank you for being here. So wait, let me come back to what we were talking about. Oh, so compass, yes. So I think that, yes, artists don't know the questions to ask in order to get the answers they're actually looking for. Because the question isn't what you think it is to find that answer, right? And it's funny you said about throwing things at the wall. Literally, I was speaking with an artist that's coming to take the November program, and that's exactly what they said. They're like, we've been throwing things at the wall, and I just feel like it feels a little random. It feels a little bit like, I was like, yeah, and also we don't want art to be decided by a focus group. We were like, oh, that sticks. My audience likes it. Let's do more of that. So now you're actually cart before the horse. You're actually ass over heels. Is it like you're back because you're now pleasing and doing what you think someone else wants, and you can never recreate that. Like you can't ever be ahead of your audience and guessing, but you can always. And I really believe in curating a life that you love. And curating a world that you want to be in, and you're comfortable in your own skin, right? And I see my job as a coach is to help you see yourself and help you figure yourself out. So I'm a big mirror to you. I also have a lot of experience that I can see, and I see patterns, and I'm also an artist and visionary. So I see this. We just had a momentum meeting, and an artist brought their mood board, and he said mood board. Now this is pre-compass, so he hasn't done the compass work, and I'm like, I'm really excited to take a snapshot of this, and to see what your brand and everything looks like at the end. But let me reflect to you what I'm seeing. And the artists themselves, as you know, is like very clear about like, well, I know why I like these things I put on here, but then I'm also saying, well, are you aware of, like, this is something I see as an overall theme going on, and do you notice that all the pictures have this element? And the artist themselves is like, oh no, I didn't. It's because it's really hard to impossible to see yourself. In fact, you know that you can't, like, if I just stand here like this, I can't see myself. I see the world. I cannot see myself without a mirror. I cannot see myself without a human mirror. We grow through relationship. We learn who we are with interaction. And so that's what's fun. It's really fun to me and meaningful, life meaningful to me, to help you be empowered just to see and know yourself, so you can say, oh yeah, this is how I want to walk in the world. This is what makes me damn special.
Exactly. And it works.
And you know what? I'm going to be so bold about being this part of me and this showing this side of me. I'm feeling so good in my, do you know crew I think it's crew cuts. There's a guy on Instagram. I'm so bad with names. I think it's KREW. I think it's crew with a Z, crew cut.
Okay.
He transforms women, particularly Black women, hair through hair.
Yes. Yeah.
I cry when I watch. I was like, love, like, oh my God, because the people themselves literally at the end are like, I can't, they're looking in the mirror going, I can't believe what I'm seeing is me. And they are stunning, beautiful, and he's introduced them to another side of themselves.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm like, you have changed someone's life at the core,
Mhm.
helping them see their own beauty and that transformation. I'm like,
And it's funny because that's like, to me, that's huge for me too. Is like I love doing that, to being like, no matter at what stage in life, what I look like, how old I get, whatever, it's like I always want to stay true to who I am and what
wow,
I like. And I feel like I've gotten a lot of response from people like, oh, you've given me inspiration to like do this and try something different. And all my friends know I drive them crazy because every time they come over and they want to go out, I'm in my closet like, this would look great on you. This would look great on you. You should keep it
ah,
from. Just keep it. Like, I'm always like, well, what if you did this with your hair? And like, and because people often they'll be like, oh, I can't do that. I'm like, why?
right. Why?
Why? Who said that? It's like,
Right?
you have this wrong. No, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's like a big message that I also try to get out, like through the music or through the visuals and through the photos. So if people are like, well, why do you always, show so much skin and this and that? It's because there's so many people who think that they can't, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to. It's natural, it's normal, and
Mhm.
it's part of the vision and the brand, so
Yeah.
to see someone else reflecting, oh, like I've always wanted to be that person, there's no reason why you can't, you know. Mhm.
That's Zoe's theme right there. Andy, it's good to see you. Come join us in Instagram or YouTube Live where I'm talking to Zoe Davis. Um, that's that's the big message in your brand then is like I'm being me and empowering others to lean into being themselves. Like you can be that person that you are. You can walk in the world that way.
Mhm.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So if I were to say, what do you hope people feel or take away when they experience your music? It sounds like that would be a big part of it, like knowing that they can do the thing that they've been afraid to do, show up the way that the way they really want to show up.
Yeah, and also just like allowing yourself to envision that there is more, that you can
Mm.
be big, that you can take up space and still be loved. Because I
Mm.
think, and like when you brought up your daughter, it also made me think about when I was younger and how I I love to do all these things. People would catch me humming in school, or I'm like just listening to music and like singing to myself. And the comment I would always get is, oh my God, stop. You're making me feel bad because you're so talented. And people don't realize, like, for someone like me, right, where I never want to make anyone feel uncomfortable by something
Mm.
that I'm doing, that when I was younger, that
Mm.
was such a big thing. And that ended up making me like squish my light down a little bit more.
Ah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Until the point where it was like, I don't even know, like even just being myself felt like I was hindering other people. But at a
Too
certain
much.
point, it's like I had to get over that. And so that's another big thing is like what if you saw yourself, you can see stars all over the world. You don't need an occasion to get dressed up. You don't need, to have a lot of money to do X, Y, and Z. Like, no, like there's ways to tap into your eccentric style that is okay, and people see you do that and they're like, oh, that's so cool, that's such a sick style, like that's inspiring, you know what I mean? And that's the type of people who I want to see. And they're like people who are afraid of going above and beyond. Like, you don't have to be,
Amazing.
yeah.
Well, first and foremost, um, when someone says to you, "Can you be smaller? Because I feel bad," that's about them, not you. But 15-year-old you did not know that,
And they're
right?
putting it in a joke phrase too, right? Like, oh, no, no, no. And you're like, oh, you don't really think about it that way
Yeah. Well,
because
and I think that we live in a world that asks you in general to get small. Like the world asks people to get small, ask women
yeah.
to get small, ask Black women to get small, ask
Mhm.
queer people to get small. As you know, the world asks you to be small and then tells you to go, make it.
Then they say, what's the phrase? Oh, remember me when you're famous. It's like,
Yeah. Um, so, and I got that. Like when I was a kid, I got, no singing at the table. So it was like, you can't do that here, and then you can't do that there, and like, please be, don't do you. So I'm like, I'm sorry that happened. I'm also happy through the arc of your life that you worked through it and you've transformed. You're like, I am embracing it. I'm inspiring others. So thank you for that. Because yeah, no one's meant to be small. No, like there is no flower in this world that is covered. It's meant to be shown and shining and colorful, and whatever you are, you do your thing.
Yeah.
There's something else in there I wanted to say. It will come to me. Yeah. It'll come to me when it does. Okay, let me take a couple other questions here for you. What are you most excited to lean into next, creatively or personally?
I think I've started to do more covers and kind of making them my own and like inserting verses into stuff. And I've gotten a lot of great feedback from that, which I think was something that I was always nervous about, like, the comparison of, are your vocals as good as this person's or is this or whatever. And I think I'm having fun with playing around with lyrics more and incorporating like the witchiness into more mainstream things, to see that there can be that merge.
Nice.
So I think I'm really excited to just kind of put myself out there more, like actually with music and with song, not just doing it like writing my own songs and putting out, but just like kind of embedding it into all the mainstream things to be like, hey, like this doesn't have to be, you don't have to look a certain way, you don't have to feel a certain way just to, or believe a certain thing to like explore this part of yourself, and it doesn't always have to sound like super neo soul to have these feelings and these thoughts. Like there is a way to incorporate, higher vibrational music or lyrics into the mainstream that makes it fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's something
cool.
Yeah.
I love that. So I want to see you spit some bars on a Kato track.
I will write that down. Yeah.
Please. I love that. That's very cool. Again, it's you putting your spin on something, and that's that the compare. It's not about the comparison. The comparison part is the value of the comparison is, oh wow, this is different. I know I'm seeing who you are because of the difference.
Yeah.
Right. What you did to it. That's awesome. And so my last question as we wrap is, if you could speak to younger you before Compass Journey, and what would you say to them? Like, what would you say to younger Zoe?
Well, I think we touched on it a bit, kind of just not shrinking your light. And really, like when you have the feeling of who you are and, who you want to be, stick with it. And don't be afraid of a challenge. Another thing, don't be afraid of growth. And yeah, I mean, I know little me was always performing and always running around and dancing, kind of like your daughter too. Like I was always moving. And I think that, got smaller and smaller and smaller as soon as people's eyes were on me and opinions were being said. And I think the main thing would just be like, nope, stay being your own hype woman. Stay like being the light and pulling in people to dance rather than stopping dancing. You know what I mean? That's kind of like be that infectious energy.
I love that. You just said bring people in to dance instead of stopping the dance.
Yeah.
I love that. It reminds me of a time, I'll share this little thing here. It reminds me of a time I was at Soho House, New York. And I was in the pool. It was a 4th of July party. So it was nighttime, and I was in the pool. Nobody was in the pool, just me. But I'm like, it's a gorgeous night. it's evening. I get to swim on this rooftop. Why wouldn't I be doing this? What?
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and a bunch of people who were like dressed and like there did it was like looking at me like all weird, like what is she doing? Why is she doing that? And then it only, I stayed in the pool. I didn't get out. I'm like, I'm in. I'm having. It took no time for like five other people to jump in, and then like beach balls were happening,
Yep.
and the moved into the pool, and I was like, welcome, join me.
You started the party, and that is
Yeah,
what it's all about.
that's it. That's it. Why not? Why not do the thing? Do the
Exactly.
thing. Do
Exactly.
the thing. Do your thing.
Hmm.
I love it. Well, thank you for
Thank
sharing
you
so
for having
openly.
me.
Yeah, and your artistry and your personal journey and hearing how it's evolved is very inspiring. And I'm really excited to see what you create next. I know that I have a backstage view of some of it, and I get to support in the process. But it's also, for me, the rehearsals are as much, if not more, fun than the show.
Hmm.
And at the same time, the show is so great to see, and like I just absolutely love applauding and championing and seeing and being so proud of you doing you, that I'm excited to see what's next and to cheer you on. And I know that your listeners will feel the same energy in your music that you're about to share with the world, and what you're bringing to the table is witchy and wonderful.
Thank you. And I owe so much of that to you and to
Wow.
Compass because y'all gave me direction. And I would say I'm proof that it works, So thank
That's
you.
amazing. That's really, again, it's meaning to my life to have a positive impact and to empower, and even more so like just seeing the next 5 years for you is going to be like, and there you see it, and there you see it, and there's the proof.
Exactly. Thank
Because
you
it's
so
happening. It's happening. Well, thank you so much, and thanks everyone for joining. Um, just stay tuned to my Instagram for posts. I'm here every Wednesday at 1 o'clock LA time, and sometimes it's me just talking on different topics, and I'm having more and more guests with Compass Backstage talking about artistry and process, and artists that have done Compass with me and artist development. Join us, ask questions. If there's any topic you want me to talk about, please let me know in the comments or DM me. And of course, if you haven't already joined the mailing list, we have an event happening October 9th in LA. It's going to be amazing. Compass Unplugged. And I'll see you here. Thank you all.
Thank you.